even at my death, I'm not gonna fund craziness. It's hard in our culture to work together. How much can they make on the side?
I would say on the low end, $50,000, but even if they do it well, $100,000. A lot of times, it's the knowledge, man. The more education you have, the more peace of mind you're gonna have.
Welcome to the table, yeah, yeah. We gon' get real, we gon' get right. Oh, building up wealth, we gon' give life. Welcome to the table, wealth, yeah. Welcome to the table, build wealth, life. Welcome to the table.
You know, one of the things I'm really excited about today's show is that my realtor is in the building. The guy that put me in the right position. The guy that said, hey, I told him, I said, man, I like this house. He's like, nope, that's not a good wealth move. Then he gave me opportunities within the neighborhood, within the PG County of DMV. He said, hey, here's some good homes and it's gonna put you in a good equity position. And when I started doing research about him and I was like, man, this guy really knows what he's talking about. Come to find out, this guy has been the #1 Black real estate agent in America over the last 5 years. Him and his amazing team has put thousands of Black families inside of home ownership. And watch this, not just selling them a home, but then also coming back and educating them on how we can turn real estate into wealth. And y'all know me, is that we are all about the E3 community where we're expanding in abundance, wellness, and freedom. And abundance means I want you to be wealthy. And how do we have wealth in the Black community? Real estate is a huge part of that. And when we have real estate, and when we have wealth, that brings us freedom, financial freedom, peace freedom, family freedom. So today's show, we're really gonna spend some time and talk to my brothers. I got my realtor. Actually, the coalition group is my real estate group, you know what I mean? It's just that Keith helped me out with my project, but he brought his business partner here, Harrison, and they got one other guy as well who couldn't make it. But you know what? I say, yo, we gotta have a conversation and really talk about, one, I wanna learn more about their story, but then two, I wanna understand how can we really tap into this real estate game and truly position ourselves to build wealth, to set up our kids to be wealthy, because a good man and a good woman leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And we talk about so many ways to build wealth, but I wanted to bring in the experts who have receipts. I've seen receipts and I have personally experienced their wisdom and their knowledge in this area that has positioned me to be in a great equity play for my future. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the table for the very first time. Not the last time, because y'all gonna see them a whole lot more. Right. The coalition group, my brother, Keith and Harrison. What's going on, family?
What's up, man?
Man, listen, let's dive into it. Because I don't wanna, they can go Google you some more. You know?
We appreciate it, man. We appreciate it. Indeed.
But I wanna talk about this. I wanna start off with this and then come back to the origin story.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 years, how many Black families could you say that you all have put inside of homes?
A lot.
A lot. a lot.
Yeah, well, the total amount of people we've served in the last 5 years is 1,700. And then I've been in the business since 2008, so we had another few hundred before that. But again, you talk about the power of partnership and kind of the rocket fuel that gets poured on it when you've got energy, knowledge, resources, and intention. Yeah. That's what's really taken us to the next level. And for Black homeownership specifically, because I actually had the honor of serving on Mayor Bowser's Black homeownership strike force for Washington, D.C.
Okay.
To come up with not just business strategies, but policy strategies to help improve it beyond just the scope of who we get to help as salespeople,
right,
but who our city can be positioning for future home ownership and to stem the tide that's happened in almost every city in the country of Black home ownership decreasing. I'm just proud of what we've been able to do and excited to be in business with these awesome dudes. And Ryan Butler, our business partner, can't be with us today.
Yeah, man, let's just be frank. We haven't been awarded the same opportunities as the other race in real estate. So we really believe in collaboration over competition. Our culture can no longer not move as a unit, right? That's super important. So we want to make sure we have resources for our clients, that they're protecting their real estate investments, that they're retaining it, and they're able to multiply and gather more resources. The speed to resource is super important, and we didn't have those conversations growing up, but now that we have the knowledge, the more education you have, the more peace of mind you're gonna have.
Well, why do y'all think real estate for us in the Black community is super important for wealth building?
The numbers don't lie. 90% of the wealthiest Americans get their wealth from real estate. The numbers don't lie. And although we haven't had the opportunity to have the same access to capital, now we have rules that are in place that are regulated for us to go out and get loans to buy real estate. And we use other people's money, right? So being able to do that, we can leverage that property to buy more real estate. And real estate, the first property, the primary residence, that's the stepping stone to investment. That's the easiest investment that you can make. And we know the average appreciation rate over the last 100 years is 3%.
3% a year.
3% a year. And that's just the average, right? When you're in a market like this, you can get 6%, 7%. And a lot of people think about cash flow, but we don't ever talk about the equity play.
Come on, stay right down, buddy. I just got excited because when I look at property, and after even talking with you, I'll call you and you'll put me on so much game.
Oh yeah.
And one thing I've learned from you is like, Anthony, don't worry about the monthly income. Have them pay off your mortgage.
Bigger.
And if you got into that house for $500,000, and then down the road you got $400,000, but you only put maybe 50 grand into it yourself, that's an equity play for you.
That's an equity play. Instant gratification has been huge in our culture. We want it right now. The way you build wealth is you play the long game.
That's
right?
it.
Buy now and wait. Right? And you let your equity build up. You don't have to worry about the instant gratification. And a lot of times when you talk about money, we want that capital right now. We want that capital right now. And the smartest investments, they're not playing a right now game. You know, they're playing the long-term game. And it's a marathon, as if you say it's a marathon.
And what makes real estate powerful, too, you asked earlier why for the black community can real estate be so powerful? It's an asset that you can get your hands on for pennies on the dollar.
No, wait, hold up, Harrison. Pennies on the dollar.
Pennies on the dollar.
When my people hear pennies on the dollar, like, what you mean by pennies on the dollar? Like, give me a good example of what you mean by pennies on the dollar.
My first property in Washington, D.C., $300,000 row home. This is about 10 years ago now, 10 years ago exactly. I was able to buy that home with 100% financing, meaning no down payment. Only thing I came out of pocket for was closing costs, and at that time I got the seller to cover a little bit of it. That asset today is worth double in 10 years, from $300,000 to a little over $600,000. I've been able to strategically tap into that in about 2 to 3 year increments to help purchase other investment properties, to give me more nest egg, to just give me more options. And when I say pennies on the dollar, I mean the fact that we can use conventional, traditional, FHA, other program financing. I can get hundreds of thousands of dollars for a small percentage of that total amount. And that's what makes real estate really powerful for folks that don't have uncle, grandma, somebody else cutting you a big check, which is a big difference amongst the different racial groups, is they had the multi-generational transfer of money to help them buy properties. And real estate can let you do that, and especially in this environment now, where lenders are starving to get people back into the market, you can get in for pennies on the dollar up front.
So right now, would you say we can still get into the market today in 2024 with pennies on the market, with the interest rate being so freaking high?
Yeah, and let's give context on the interest rate being so high.
Talk about it.
Right now, when we're at around 7% at the beginning of 2024. The last time we were here was like 2011, 12. So that's only, 11, 12 years ago that we were at this rate. And at that time, that rate had come down from where it was before.
True that.
I don't want to throw out, I get really frustrated when boomers come and say, well, I bought my first house back in the day, my rate was 17%. We ain't talking about that right now. But historically speaking, the fact that people had such crazy external factor suppressed rates of 2%, 3%, that was really the anomaly. That was not the normal. The normal is actually closer to a 6, 7, even 8% rate.
Is it?
So it feels like it is high now relative to what we saw in the last 5 or 6 years, but we're actually closer to a standard market rate. When you're looking at any other type of debt, credit, borrowing money for anything else, what's your rate?
Man, we at 18, 20, 30%.
30%. So for context, 7 or 8% is not that high. So to answer your question, for now, for people to still be able to get in for pennies on the dollar with a 7 or even 8% rate, that's not that bad historically. And especially with the appreciation trend, time on task, focus, and a understanding of your ownership horizon, makes the math make sense. You just need some context around where we are now relative to the entire history of the market.
The average interest rate since 1994, 8.4%.
What?
The average interest rate since 1994 is 8.4%. So if you're telling me I can get a 6%, but my math, and the numbers make sense and I can afford it, why not?
So right now, you all are saying, even though the interest rate is at 7%, because I'll be honest, in this generation, in our generation, we're all around the same age. Dude, my first house, I was at 3%.
Yeah, we were too. I got multiple mortgages below 3% right now.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, and then my interest rate right now that you got me is 4.5.
Exactly. But Anthony, winners win in the wintertime. You got to think about the people that are saying, you know what, the interest rates are too high. That's where you have more opportunity in the marketplace to go in and strike. And sellers are willing to give you closing help. So therefore, you're getting into the market at a cheaper cost, quite frankly. Because guess what? When it was 2% and 3%, we had $40,000. If you came to me with a property, I would have said, at 2% interest rate, just add $50,000 to what they're asking for it, because we're going to have to compete to go get it. That's your starting price.
I had to do that.
Exactly.
You made me put 60 grand, bro.
Yeah. And then that's to your point, man. Look at where your equity is at.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
3 years, I'm sitting good.
Great.
I am happy.
Great.
I'm happy.
And that's minus the upgrade.
Right. So okay. I get it. So what I hear you all saying is that if we're going to really win in this space, if you are in a healthy position to where you got a guaranteed check coming in, you know what I'm saying, you got a little bit of savings, you're paying your rent, so why not drop that rent, come over here and get you a mortgage, even though the interest rate is 7%? Because you can possibly, with the right real estate agent, you can possibly get a better deal on a home.
Absolutely.
And then if you get the best deal on a home, it's almost like, I've heard this before, I don't know who said it, it's almost like date the rate but marry the house.
Yeah, I said that.
You said that? Okay. So I'm like, okay, so, but how long will we be here? If the average was 11 years ago, we was at that. Do y'all foresee it going down some? Or are we gonna stay around here for a little while?
We're telling our clients to plan on the rate being around here right now. And the important thing, especially for folks in the DMV and other strong real estate markets,
right?
You still got crazy competition right now, Anthony. I had some folks in Northern Virginia just yesterday on an $800,000 house lose out one of 17 offers.
What?
Yesterday, in the beginning, in this high rate environment where people are afraid to compete. That's the truth right there. And also in Prince George's County right now.
Yeah.
At the modest to middle of the market price points, 4s and 5s, 12, 13, 14 offers.
Indeed.
So like what that tells me is that if you're on the sidelines looking and saying, I'm gonna wait it out and see when rates get better, if we're at that type of competition in some of our sub-markets with higher rates, when those rates go down, what's gonna happen? People that hop off on the sideline and the ownership, the biggest thing we tell folks now, because yes, date the rate, marry the house is a phrase, I just say be very clear about your ownership horizon and your capacity. Ownership horizon and capacity. If I'm gonna own this property 5 to 7 years, that's kind of the time horizon now that can equalize for either paying a little bit more upfront, having a slightly higher rate, or having an option to reposition the debt. Because that's what rich people say. They don't say refinance, they say reposition my debt. Reposition my debt when the market environment supports it. And by me owning over that time frame, even if I don't have banging like 12, 13, 14% appreciation years, what am I going to have every year? 2 or 3%. 2 or 3 times 5?
I'll take it.
The math works out because my equity at that time will give me more options later. So making the choice now when others are retreating and saying that the rates are too high gives you that choice to own and have more options later. Like that's the biggest thing we want to try to impress upon folks is speak not just the possibility, but the actual details of this ownership horizon and how it can look for you if you make that choice now, as opposed to waiting it out for things that you don't even know if it's ever gonna come and turn out a low rate.
Yeah.
I am 30 years old. I make $60,000 a year. I am a single mom. The interest rate is scaring me.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do I get inside of a home today? And I don't have $50,000, $60,000 just sitting there to put down towards.
That's easy. The program you did.
Yeah.
NACA.
NACA. NACA, 4 letters. Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. That's one, and that is a national program, but then depending on where you are, there are other hyper-local programs that don't just offer down payment assistance, but they offer grants for people that are in a limited monthly payment capacity standpoint with lower income. There is grant money that is both demographic specific and has lots of other buckets where you can get the money that other people can't. You really got to get with somebody that can help you navigate all that and get all the free money you can. And also be flexible geographically. You got to be flexible geographically right now, because for folks that want to live right in the eminently walkable, most popular, hottest
areas. You can't afford it.
Just supply and demand. There's not enough product there for that to be cheaper. So the first thing I'd say is make sure you're navigating every possible program out there. Low down payment plus grants and other money that you don't have to pay back. Those are the main two things. Second is making sure you can be a little bit geographically flexible, because if you're close to one of the major metropolitan areas, people are getting pushed further and further out for affordability. So what feels like it might be far right now, they're not building anything closer in. Everything is getting pushed further out, and as populations increase, you're going to have to go further out. So what might feel further out, what might feel like it's not the best long-term equity play today, call me in 5 to 7 years.
Where you have me at, is that further out? Would you say that's further out?
Used to be. Guess what? Cranes are in the sky close to where you are. In National Harbor. National Harbor wasn't there 15 years ago.
That was Oxon Hill.
That was Oxon Hill,
Maryland. That was not National
Exactly. That was National Harbor, Maryland. So, you got to think about where cranes are going. You can't build anymore in the city park, right?
No more dirt.
So there's no more dirt. You got to be flexible, and you got to think 5 years from now. What would this investment do for me 5 years from now? And if you're not thinking that way, you might want to reconsider the type of, loan or the type of grant that you want to do, because that free money is going to put you in a certain systems track, and that's okay, because guess what? PG County now, they had the most appreciation last year than they've had in the last 10 years.
Wow.
And when I'm in PG, short-term what?
Short-term sacrifice for long-term success.
Long-term success.
Indeed.
What's so funny is, man, because I was in the middle about to buy that big old $3 million situation.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because where I'm at now is a beautiful, big home.
Yeah.
And I just put the pool in the backyard. I did so much renovation. And actually, I need to have you come out there and give me what will it appraise for now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we bought it for right at, I can't remember, a little over 7.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact it's over $1 million.
Yeah, easy.
I know for a fact.
Easy.
Because 2 houses down from me just sold for 1.1.
Yeah.
And they have nowhere near, I don't know real estate. I know it's not just about that. But it's like the square footage is like maybe 40 more square footage than my house.
Yeah.
And forced appreciation.
It's forced.
You actually created the new market with what you've chosen to invest in it. So that's a powerful thing too.
And that's another thing.
Wait, hold on. What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
So forced appreciation versus kind of natural market appreciation.
Okay.
The power of real estate is that if I just sit, if I buy this desk and I just sit on it for 5 to 7 years, we're hoping for that 2 to 3% every year.
Right.
It's going to go up. That's natural appreciation.
Okay.
Forced is when I choose through a capital event, through capital expenditure, through investment, to make my home worth more by investment now. And you've done that smart, like everything you described earlier, the hardscaping, the extra rec space, the things you've done.
All day.
That's forced appreciation. So you have actually accelerated the timeline that your home is worth more money as opposed to just sitting on.
You know what I did? Hold on, Keith. Yep. You remember when me and you came, when we bought this house?
Yep.
I did this because I was like, I just think I need to do this. But I kept the inspection thing that they gave me.
Yeah.
And what I've been doing is working on those things.
Yep.
That you do not physically see.
Not sexy, not exciting.
It's not sexy, it's not exciting.
Yeah.
One of it was they had a huge leak out in the middle of the thing you were telling me about. I was like, well, shoot. So when they dug up the front, I said, hey, while we have this dug up, Gary, go fix that for me.
Yep. Yeah.
So we fixed that. Couldn't see it. I haven't had one leak in that house in 3 years.
Yep.
Not one leak. And I was like, okay. So is that smart for people when you go buy a home, keep that inspection? Because my uncle told me one thing before. He said, you do not buy a home for you. You always buy a home to eventually sell.
Exactly.
So he was like, so when he said that, I was like, well, if I want to sell, that's going to come back up when I'm ready to sell. Yeah. So I might as well just fix this stuff now.
Yeah.
Does that help out the equity play?
It definitely does. And I know you said sell, but also in rent. Because guess what? You have a lot of things that other people don't have in the neighborhood. So when, let's say 2 doors down, they put their house up for rent, you put your house up for rent. But they're gonna come in and look at your place and say, I'll give you more money for your place versus this place over here, right? And you talk about forced appreciation and just sitting on it. Well, then you also have market appreciation, where a buyer will come in and say, you know what, because you have this, this, and this, and I feel better in this house, I'll pay more for this than I would the next property. So that's another thing real estate can do for you as well.
Oh, man, this some good information, right? There's some good information. One of my friends recently lost a loved one, and their life insurance check, they received a life insurance check for like $60,000 for a loved one that passed. And this person had term life insurance, which was actually pretty dope. And they took that and they called me and said, hey man, what do you think I should do? I'm already maxed out in all my 401ks, my IRAs, my investment strategy. That's great, but it's like, I got this money and I don't want to spend it wrong. What should I do? And immediately, they're out in Texas. I said, real estate. I said, I will go out there and buy you some land or get you some property. I said, I wouldn't go out there and buy nothing big. I'll buy you something that you know you can go in there, fix up, boom, 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 boom. And it was just really cool, you guys, that they were actually able to get this life insurance check and invest it properly, which is, I want to flip this a little bit on you all watching. One of the key things on just building wealth is not just real estate, but it's also like, hey, what life insurance policy do you have in place so to when you leave, because it's not a matter of if, when we leave, and as a Christian man who practices and reads this, right? The Bible says, I don't know when God is going to bring me home. But what I do want to know is when he does decide to allow me to come home to bring me home, I've positioned my loved ones to where they can start building more wealth. And we pass that down. And so I want to encourage you to look into life insurance as you're watching this show, because we're sitting here learning what wealth can do, what real estate can do for our wealth portfolio. But what else can we position our kids to do with more real estate? If we can just honestly think about what happens to us when that time comes. So real quick, I want you to check out this commercial from Ethos, and I promise you it'll bless you. Recently, I've completed my full estate plan, and it's been an emotional journey, if I'm going to be honest with you. But now I have a peace of mind knowing that my family and loved ones are well taken care of. But here's something you may not know that I think you need to know. According to a recent study, nearly 60% of African American adults have life insurance. Now, wait a minute. Many of these policies may not provide sufficient coverage to fully protect their families in case of unexpected deaths. This lack of adequate coverage is a pressing issue among the Black community. It can lead to financial difficulties and potentially hinder the building of generational wealth. In today's time, it's more important than ever for African Americans to give priority to life insurance and estate planning. You see, by doing so, you can ensure that your loved ones are secure in the event of your passing. This covers funeral and burial costs, clears all debts and mortgages, and provides a financial cushion to help them continue building wealth, long-lasting wealth. Don't leave your family's financial future to chance. I want you to secure life insurance today. I want you to get a free life insurance quote through my friends at Ethos. All you gotta do is go to anthonyoneal.com/life insurance. Again, that is anthonyoneal.com/life insurance for your free quote, or click the link in today's show notes. Protect your family's future and attain a peace of mind. Act right now, and let's get back to today's show. Don't just get a life insurance policy without an estate plan.
There you go. There you go.
Because a life insurance policy, if you give it to them without direction, without wisdom, without guidance, without saying, hey, this is what I want you to do, you're just throwing them something without the wisdom, without the knowledge. Inside of my estate plan, which Ethos will give that to you for free. If you get a quote for them today, get you a life insurance policy today, they'll give you a free estate plan. So if I was to die today, my parents and family members, they're not getting all my money at one time. There are certain things that they'll get, then they got to check off other things to get more money.
There you go.
And so one of my thing is, hey, this check, nephew, niece, if I have kids, the next check comes when you're a homeowner. So if you get this check and you go waste it and you do not go put it into real estate or put it into a business, you're not getting no more money. That money now is going to be allocated somewhere else, because I'm not going to, even at my death, I'm not going to fund craziness. I'm going to fund wealthiness. I want abundance, wellness, and freedom. And so I'm not going to fund trips to wherever. No. I'm funding, how do we set you up, father, mother, to leave an inheritance to your children's children? And so literally, I really want to go there. But the coalition group has been around now for how long now? How long y'all been around?
5 years. 2018.
5 years.
Yeah.
Why? Like, what made y'all come together? Let's be real. We don't like working together.
Yeah.
But it's hard in our culture to work together.
Yeah.
We feel as well, if he can do it, if I'm gonna make 50% with him, I can make 100% by myself.
Yeah.
You know, how was it that y'all three have been able to come together? You all put 1,700 families inside of homes in the last 5 years. That's a lot. You all have closed $650 million in volume, and not just made all this money. Within 5 years, Black men, the coalition group, has raised over $1 million to just give away and to be a blessing. Which is why I believe that you all are blessed. But why did y'all decide to come together to help position us to be wealth builders through real estate?
When you're trying to build something that's bigger than yourself, you can't do it alone, right? And we really believe in collaboration over competition. And we looked and said, who in America has a solid real estate business that have come together to create what we're trying to create? And we just didn't see that. Real estate has been dominated by white males. Let's just be quite frank. That's who dominated real estate.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be able to come in and add some flavor, add some sauce, and be relatable to our culture so we can impact our culture and give our culture that education. And I think by us coming together, we've done that. And the numbers don't lie.
Yeah. And the decision too was one of bigger impact, and knowing that if we were individuals still kind of doing our thing and, you know, growing at a high level, we were still succeeding by every metric. Like I was one of NAR's 30 under 30 realtors before we came together in the whole country. But the decision was, how with our forces combined can we actually earn spaces and earn an opportunity to get into bigger rooms and different conversations. Just thinking about how much both our minds have grown, the knowledge that we've amassed just by making that choice to come together and say, what does it look like if we actually combine forces instead of just trying to figure it out on, you know, each one doing it on their own. Like, it was a big decision.
And I think also too, being able to get into these rooms, like we wanted access to these rooms so we can get this knowledge that they've been getting for years, so we can come back and bring it back to our people, which is super important. You know, a lot of times it's the knowledge, man. The more education you have, the more peace of mind you're gonna have, and the more powerful you can be with the education, because they can take the money away, you know, but they can't take that knowledge and education away. And the faster we come together and the faster we can get to these rooms where they're talking about high level, how to really use money and really bring that information back to our culture and impact our people, we found that will be so much powerful, and we can impact more people together than we ever could alone.
What I'm starting to see a lot, actually one of our mutual friends, Kezia, she did this. You helped her get this property. Like, people are getting, like, not just one, getting duplexes or six, like, I don't know what they call it, but multi-families, where it's like 6 different homes in there or something like that. And I feel so crazy because you actually gave me a good opportunity, and I missed out on that opportunity because I was scared.
Yeah, it's all good.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be honest. I was nervous because, man, it's in the hood. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest, you know? But I'm like, dang, I missed out on that, right? But it's like, I really want to talk about that because I think you're saying you all are teaching people how y'all can get into a multifamily, like a 6-unit situation in 12 to 18 to 24 months. Why is that something we should consider? And I'm telling you right now, the next thing I want to purchase with you all is something of that, and just pull that trigger. But is that more expensive? Like, what? Give me the play behind it.
Yeah, I think one thing you said earlier is that not going out to buy something super big, right? Because when you put out a lot of capital up front, you're not able to go out and leverage and buy more real estate, right? We believe in hitting singles, just getting on base, hitting singles. We're not trying to swing for the fence and hit a grand slam, because if you get on base every single time, you can go to the Hall of Fame like that. So when you go out and buy a 4-unit building, you can buy a 4-unit building and put 3.5% down. Typically, if you're buying it as an investment property, you got to put 20% down. But this is an owner-occupant FHA loan.
Hold on, wait a minute. But this is what I'm talking about. So my last banker, when I say no names, say, y'all got to put down 20%. if I want to go buy that kind of property. I was like, well, I don't have $200,000-$300,000 right now that I can just put down on a piece of property. But I'm seeing people out here getting properties left and right. And I'm like, I know you ain't dropping $1 million in 1 month, 2 months, getting all these properties. So that's how they're doing it, is by saying I'm owner occupied.
Correct.
So help me understand, teach me. Don't worry about them, teach me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I'm already in a home now and I want to go buy this unit, because I have other units that I purchased, like with my pops that we are, you know, that we own, but we had to put 20% down on.
Correct, indeed.
So you're saying, what is the legal and ethical way on how to get into a home with 3.5% or 5% down, and I'm already in a home already?
It's called investing through owner occupancy. Investing through owner occupancy is the phrase. When you're speaking to your lender about it, you're going to make sure you're clear on what are the requirements for this next purchase to be my primary residence. Even though you have a place you're living now, the simple thing you say is, for my next property, I would like for this to be my primary residence. And they'll say, okay, here is the activity threshold that we're going to require this bank, this loan program, for this to be your primary residence. Quite often, filing your tax return from that address, doing some other actions that make sure in the eyes of both the lender and the government that that is where you're going to live. Now, after that happens, after you own the home, life situations can change, job opportunities can change. If you do have to either go back to the residence you were at before or somewhere else, that is completely compliant and legal. But you want to be very clear up front that I'm following the rules and the guidelines, because we're not going to tell nobody to commit loan fraud out here. Right. We're not going to have you get derailed on your way to building it.
Thank you.
But there's plenty of folks that have leveraged the rules within the system to buy multiple properties with minimal down payment in the shortest time frames possible, just because they're following the loan guidelines.
And that's our program, How to Buy 6 Doors in 12 to 18 months, right? And there is, Fannie Mae just dropped a bomb.
6 doors in 18 months, so people know. 6 doors, you mean it's a multi-unit, and it has you can put 6 families or 6.
Or if it's like 3 2-units, 1 4-unit, 2 single families. Like saying I own 6 different doors in the course of 18 months. Not necessarily 6 at once, because that's normally a commercial loan. For residential, it doesn't need to be 4 units or less, but you could do 4-unit, 2-unit, 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 2-unit.
And you also have the separate entrance basement option. So if you can live up top and rent out the basement, we're in a very transient area, and people will live in basements and rent them out. So that's another option, and that becomes another income generating product as well. And we use that as well as the 6 doors, included in the 6 doors as well.
So what kind of program can I get for 3.5 to 5% down on that? So like 3.5 on a, let's say, for like, what would you say worst case scenario? What are y'all seeing in the market right now for like units like that, for a multi-unit?
Call it $750,000.
So $750,000, and you're saying I can put down 5%.
You actually can
That's
put down
37.
You actually put down 3.5.
Shut up.
So
man.
take it.
I'm sorry, bro. 3.5% is going to be my down payment. That's $26,000. That is not bad at all.
Absolutely.
And the other powerful part is when you utilize FHA financing, there's something called a self-sufficiency study. Meaning that I can qualify for a higher mortgage payment than my income allows, as long as the other units in that building are cash flowing to the point to offset my monthly obligation. So most of the time, they want to keep your total debt to income ratio, including your mortgage,
below 30, right?
Well, FHA can get up to the 40s, but 30 is a smart range to go to. If I only qualify, I'm showing this is only like 12, 15% for me, but my other units in the building I'm buying already have leases, already show existing rental history, I can qualify with a much lower ratio to be able to get a building than I could if it were just me on my own.
And what the lenders are doing now, remember when we said they're starving for loans, right? They're even saying, you know what, Keith, you go out and run comps on this property to see what you can potentially get for rent, and we'll use that for the other units if they're vacant.
What?
And Keith James here is a master at this, and some of our best lenders, of making sure when we're helping people qualify, we have clarity on numbers, and we've got options that show them what that rental income can be within a realistic range, but what the number needs to be to make sure that they can qualify to get in. Because we know rents are only going up. Only going up.
Only going up.
They are going up.
So are y'all positioning people when they come to you to get this education? Because one thing I do love about you all is that not only you all, real estate agents and getting people into homes, but you're providing the education on what the next step is. The very first conversation I had with Keith, which is why I've never had this with no other real estate agent. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. And I've worked with one other that he knows of, and I love him, but even that wasn't the case, right? Keith jumps on the very first time and he goes to a PowerPoint presentation with me. So, all right, the first step is we're going to get you into a home here in DMV. Second step is we're going to run an equity play and get you into another investment property. And I mean, I was like,
wait, I ain't bought my first one yet.
right? You know what I'm saying? It's like he's giving me the education from the very beginning on what we're going to do. Yep. We're going to get you into a home so you can move to the DMV area. Great. These are the areas you're going to look into. We're not going to look into these areas because it's just not good right now. And this is your home. You want to raise a family here, but you want to make some equity. Cool, great. Let's get you into that home. But then the next step is after a year, we're going to talk about A, B, C. And he hit me up. Hey, Anthony, it's time for the conversation. And I'm like, dang, Keith, I've been busy. I've been running. And so, but it's like, I love that. So now that you have people watching, say, all right, Keith, Coalition Group, I'm in my primary home, but I don't have a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Like I don't have, you know what I'm saying, 50 grand sitting aside, but I may come back and get 25, 26 grand.
Yeah.
Are y'all saying there's hope in the community?
Well, we have never been told that it was possible, right? We've never been told that it was possible. We haven't seen it done, right? So that's why I host home buying seminars in my investment properties, right? Okay. So last property I bought for $750 at a 7.3% interest rate. So when I'm educating, I'm giving out my closing disclosures, all my numbers, my renovation budget, so clients can see. We had about 75 people on a rainy day in one of my investment properties before it got renovated. So we could educate them about how to do these things. So we've never seen it done. So when I bring people into the property so they can see what I'm doing, they can feel, touch the property, see how dirty it is, and then I bring them back in after it's renovated to show them, okay, this is where I messed up at. These are the opportunities I have to get better in when it comes to renovations and contractors. This is what not to do, and this is what to do.
So good.
Once we see it done, we can believe, and then we can achieve it.
So what do I need to be doing if I'm, if I say I'm in DC making $80,000, $100,000 a year, right? And I want to get inside of one of these units. Where do I first start?
Well, you need to come talk to me.
Right.
First and foremost.
And we're going to put all their information, you guys, inside of today's show notes. So y'all definitely can go talk to the Coalition Group.
Yep. And we're not just a real estate company. We're not just a transactional company, right? Our mission is to be the bridge to our community for all things real estate, lifestyle, and wealth building.
I love it.
We have relationships. Relationships will take you places money can't.
Facts.
And that's super important when you're trying to build a portfolio.
Facts.
From the contractor, from the right lending options, and things of that nature.
Folks helping you get the permits right.
Exactly. And all that stuff, we're a one-stop shop. You can come here to us and get all that information, and you can get it quickly. And we're not the people that are trying to sell dreams. We're actually doing the things that we're telling our clients to do.
You are, and I'm watching that. So once they come see you all, because I think for them, they want to know, okay, before I come see you, what things should I have in place before I come see someone like the Coalition Group? Because some people may live in Florida, Well,
let me be blunt, man. I think the way we've set up our systems now, we've got the whole set of resources that can help people navigate. If you just got the dream and the intention, we're going to be real straightforward up front if it's something that can be taken action on in the short term, or if there are other steps and other people you need to connect with before you're in a position to take action. So I'd say, honestly, the first step, and this isn't just blowing smoke, is to talk to us. Because from there, it's kind of a tree. We can figure things out. And back to just a reference where you asked why we came together. I think the most tangible benefit of privilege is kind of a knowledge, chronology, and a roadmap. Privilege is a roadmap. When we come together and combine our resources, the acceleration of the roadmap we've been able to build for people on both their wealth building journey, on their ownership journey, is so powerful. So that's why coming to a group like us early is the most impactful thing you can do, because if there are intermediate steps, we're not going to just shut you off and be like, get back with me when you write. It's like, no, here are steps 1, 2, 3, 4 that you need to take to get right. We don't want people to take guesses or talk to Uncle Joe or whoever else that says, you need to do this before you go talk. No, to navigate and accomplish it now, we got the steps, we got the resources, and that's really the most tangible benefit and the power of our partnership.
Anthony, we've had so many people come to us and say, thought that they were a year and a half out, thought that they were 2 years out, but they actually got a house in 4 to 6 months. They don't know what they don't know. They're actually better off than they thought they were, right? And that's so powerful, because when you talk about the acceleration, they're able to build wealth faster for their family, and not just for them, not just for their kids, but their grandkids. And that's super important as well. Speed to be able to build wealth. Because if you a lot of times we have fear. We have fear. I bought my first property at the age of 23. And that was just walking by faith and not by sight. That really was super scary for me. But the one thing, it wasn't about the deal. The one thing I think the barrier that I broke down was the fear. Once I accomplished that deal, I caught that real estate bug and I was able to go out and do more because I had the confidence.
Yeah.
The confidence is super important because a lot of times in this process, we don't talk about the emotional piece.
Facts.
You know, we have a lot of emotional things that are going on in life right now, especially with where the world is at. So we are the people that want to make sure that we're educating, we're giving clients peace of mind, and we're relatable and talking about the things that other realtors won't talk about.
The emotional part is so big.
It's so big.
The event we had the last couple of years, OwnerCon, we actually had a gentleman come speak about financial trauma that the Black community has experienced from the things that we've seen and the folks trying things like that fear around not understanding exactly how it works and quite frankly not having a nest egg or a safety net.
Absolutely.
So when we speak possibility, it's not just a possibility of what you can do, but the strategy on making sure you're properly protected, understanding the variables and risk, and knowing that the best wealth building opportunities are often just on the other side of what feels comfortable, not on the other side of what is reasonable, responsible, and that you understand the path to navigate.
And that's why we do OwnerCon every single year. Okay. It's a big wealth building conference where past clients and people can come out and get educated on how to protect their assets, retain their assets,
multiply,
and also multiply.
When are y'all doing that in 2024?
Fall. We'll be back in fall again. Probably it was first, second week of October. We'll try to avoid Howard Homecoming. They had a little bit of overlap and 8th Street Festival. But it was just amazing energy.
I want to partner with y'all on that.
Please.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
I want to do that big and bring y'all back on the show. And let's really make that big. Because I think that we need to provide the education and the information without a scammy feeling to it.
Absolutely.
Like, of course, we all want to make money. Let's be honest.
And we will when we do it right.
Exactly. But it's like, I think the quickest way to making money is helping people get into what they need to get into.
Absolutely.
And I think that we've, in our culture, or not in our culture, in culture period, that we just have a lot of people who only care about making money but don't care about the life where they're taking the money from.
Exactly.
And I genuinely want to make sure that we put this information out there because we need it. So when that comes, you guys, closer, we will definitely get you all that information and invite y'all out to the DC area and let's pack it out. How many y'all have last year, 23?
We were at, I know year one was like 200 something. Year two was like 175, just a slightly smaller venue.
No, man, we're going to do 1,000.
All right.
My people coming.
Let's get it. And look, everybody that came too, and here's the other powerful part, man. You look at specifically in communities of color, it's taking it a step further beyond speaking possibility. It's like I said, showing you the actual roadmap and getting the anecdotes of people that have just done it. Like we just did it. Here's what it looked like. Here's how it felt. Here's how I navigated that moment of indecision and fear and uncertainty. And here's what it feels like on the other side. And I feel like that's a story that's not articulated clear enough because we're all here saying like, oh, you could do it, try it, believe. Like, no, I did it. It was scary. I was here. And here's why I'm so grateful that I did do it. Here's what I want to do a little bit better next time, you know?
And we always talking about the big wins and things of that nature, but we never talk about the losses. And that's what we do at that conference. We get super vulnerable and talk about the losses. And that's super important too. You know, when I bring people into my investment properties, I talk about, man, I've really lost money right here. This is what you shouldn't do. And that's why it's so tangible so they can go out and take that piece of information and go out and do it correctly. And we're helping them do that.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you 2 more questions, man. We're way over time. We try to do 35 minutes.
Too much good stuff.
I don't want to rush this right here, but it's like we talked about how we can get into the homes and we can, build wealth through equity. But then there's a flip side to that I think a lot of people should do. One of the things I'm teaching about is instead of you working extra hours on a job, how about you work 8 to 5? Bring your butt home and then build something that you own that is for your family. And one thing I do like about you all, that you all are teaching people how to do what you all do, real estate on the side. From a real estate perspective on the side, being realistic, right? They come to y'all, they learn from you all, they get connected to the coalition group. Because remember, we're always talking about you got to get connected, relationships. So they join you all train them. Because I think you all are even training people now how to do this on the side. Within 1 year, worst case scenario, if they work it and follow the principles that you all teach, how much can they make on the side?
I would say on the low end, $50,000, but even If they do it well, $100,000. And that's because they get educated and learn how to begin with the end in mind. So they see that 100. Let's put the $100,000 at the top.
Right.
How many appointments you need to make that $100,000? How many closings you need to make that $100,000? Clarity is power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you don't have clarity, you can't measure your goal.
Yeah.
So that's why we teach people, begin with the end in mind. What's the number that you want to make?
Right.
And then from there, learn back into that with appointments and closings.
Well, is it expensive to become a real estate agent? Like, you have to spend a lot of money to do that?
You probably, if you're going to be actively selling, because there are two different paths. There's the dual career where I'm focused on referring business, creating relationship and referring it out for others to close and getting a referral check. That's one path. Then there's the active selling route. Active selling route is going to be around a couple grand to be getting all the tools to be able to go show properties, have MLS access, contracts, all that stuff. If you're just in the referral, maybe about half. So about 1,000 if you're just referring, about 2,000 if you're selling.
So if I wanted to refer people to the coalition group to be legal and ethical to get a check within my brand, within my reach, it'll cost me about $1,000 just to go through to get that proper license to be on the deal.
To have a license and referral status, yes. And then you can monetize, because here's the most powerful part about a real estate sales business, or really any business, as you know.
Right.
If you're intentional and providing value and have a decent system, not even the best system in the world, but a decent system of organizing the people in your universe and communicating to them, real estate is a very direct and tangible way that can be monetized. And that's what we're trying to help people understand, is you got to have some better kind of basic communication skills and a path to understanding how that communication, how that value, even if it's not the value you got directly, it's the value through the people supporting you, can help the folks in your world. Because when that happens at a high level, they're going to go tell other people. They'll be like, oh, Anthony put me on. Like, he put me on and it was great. Our business is about 90% by referral in that way.
Absolutely.
Because we do right by people.
Yeah.
And they want to tell others, right? Like, yes, we have raving fans, and we have a class about creating raving fans. But quite frankly, the raving fans kind of create themselves based on the experiences we provide to them.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I would say 80% of the people who follow me now is from organic traffic. We just got into doing ads last year. And I think total, I maybe put about $25,000 into ads. Like, I just believe in just creating. I think the best advertisement you can have is a third-party validation.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, if I go and say, yo, coalition group, like I'm doing now, like, hey, these guys put me to a house, and that when I go to sell, I'll probably make at least $300,000 to $400,000 on my home in the next 5 years.
Absolutely.
That's because of coalition group. That's because of them. Oh, wait, they did that? Yes. Now y'all got business.
Absolutely.
Period.
And it didn't cost y'all nothing. Well, it cost you excellence. It cost you integrity, right? But it didn't cost you $50,000 on ads.
Right.
And I think that's what's important and what I love about what you all are doing. Because like I said, even just a presentation on what you did for me, I was like, y'all need to go nowhere else. Like, I feel good and I trust Keith. And then when Keith passed me off to the guy to go look at different homes, like, I was like, oh, it's Keith. The whole flow was excellence. And I say this respectfully, I've dealt with other real estate agents. They did not operate in excellence. I felt rushed. I felt like another number, right? And I called our mutual friend, say, yo, did he do this for you or did he do this for me because of, and she's like, no, he did that for me too.
Absolutely.
I was like, Ross, she said, yeah, that's their standard.
Absolutely.
It's to sit down and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what's happening in the market. Here's some education. If you work with me, this is not just a one-stop thing. It's I want to put you in here and then position you to wealth building down the road.
Period.
Absolutely. Period.
And I'm like, wow. And so, you guys, we're going to put all of their information inside of today's show notes. We're going to put the coalition group to where if you're looking to buy real estate in the DMV area, hey, go check them out. If you want to learn how to be, do real estate on the side, right? This is a great company to connect with if you're in the DMV area, or is it only DMV area?
No, it's nationwide. And we actually do have a coalition connection network. Like, we just came back from Vegas last week. So wherever people are looking to, we are directly selling here, but by referral, we can support people anywhere. Even as far out in Guam, at a Guam yesterday. So yeah.
So listen. Listen, yo, check out their stuff. And I promise you, you're definitely going to want to check them out because this is, I believe, one of the greatest tools that we can tap into with the right information. I didn't know that there are these different programs out there in real estate. And I'm finding this stuff out now. Like, wait a minute. So I could legally and ethically, right, without breaking the law, get into a home for 3.5% down by doing it legally and ethically. And then now that saves me money. I would probably have more properties if I knew that information. But that's why Solomon said, God, give me wisdom and knowledge so that I can govern your people accordingly. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. If he can ask for that, not $1 million, not for 20 houses, not for this, he said, yo, if I can get the wisdom and knowledge, I can make better decisions. I can make better informed decisions. Now I'm like, okay, wait, now that I got the wisdom and the knowledge from these guys, I'm about to buy me some more property. I'm about to buy me some more property.
Run it back.
I'm going to run the play.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, wait a minute, I could do that. I can get me a multi-unit and put people in there and let them pay that off. And it's not about the monthly income. Because I teach here on this show is everything is about your net worth, right? Yes. And so for me, net worth is what equity, what assets do you have minus your liabilities.
Exactly.
So if I got $1 million house that I only got $500,000 on it as on a loan, that's $500,000 towards my net worth. Yes. Now I may be only making $1,000 a month, which is not a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But my net worth is up $500,000.
Exactly. And you can leverage that.
And you can leverage it to go buy more property.
Indeed.
And it grows while it's sitting.
That's what I'm saying. Then I'm not the guy just let it sit there. I'm like, okay, how can I make this house better, right? You know what I'm saying? How can I get to that forced appreciation? Like when I look in my neighborhood, I just be looking, okay, what can I do better than this? And when I drove down the house, everyone's grass sucks. Bato! Bro, come get my grass right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I have not stopped working on my house since I moved there.
Yeah, it's a bug, man.
I haven't, because I'm like, why? Yeah. Like, what can I do to make the house better and to force? I didn't know I was doing this, but to force equity on top of the marketplace equity. Yeah. And so now I'm like, okay, cool. Like, because they say a pool doesn't really help your per se equity, but it makes it better for the buyer.
Absolutely.
And it's so rare around here. And that's where,
it's rare?
Understand the market. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I feel like when we did either both in the county, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, at different snapshots, there were maybe 25 to 30 homes active with pools. Yeah. Like, it's a very low number. Prince George's County is much lower than Montgomery County.
I asked you for one. Yep. When we was moving.
Exactly.
And there's only one house.
Only one house. So
I was so upset. Yeah. I was like, and we called in. Yep. I liked the house, but I wasn't like, oh, this is a dope house. Right. But I was like, it got that pool though. Yep. I can fix the house. Yep. And then you're right. I was like, I can work with the house. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Because it had the things that I want. The pool, the nice little basement. But man, by the time we even called and asked, they already had so many freaking crazy deals on it.
I remember that. And one other thing we didn't touch on was that you can do a renovation loan. The banks will give you money for the acquisition and also the construction costs. So that's how a lot of people, it's called an FHA 203K loan. Okay. That's how a lot of people also force that appreciation as well. Because pennies on a dollar. I'm going to put 3.5% down, right? Okay. Buy probably a $500,000 house. Okay. I put $200,000 into it, right? But I'm going to use the bank's money to do that. Okay. The interest rate is a little bit higher, but guess what? About 85% of the time, when the appraisal comes back, right, that home is worth more than what the bank. Worth more than what
walking into equity.
You're walking into equity.
Yeah. So let's say if I do that play. Mm-hmm. Buy it for $500,000, it puts $200,000 in it. I borrowed the $200,000 for that, so that's $700,000 in debt that I have. Mm-hmm. But say the home comes out and I'm worth $850,000. Yep. Are y'all saying to refi all of that now, or do you have two separate payments? You have your mortgage payment and you have the.
That's one.
Yeah, it's one.
Wait. So the FHA loan. It's one loan.
It's one loan.
But they're giving you $500,000 to pay to buy the house. Yep. Then you get $200,000 cash to go renovate the house.
Correct.
But it's one big loan.
It's one big loan.
And in some cases, you can get like other carrying costs and other money that you borrow.
For 6 months. You don't have to pay your mortgage for 6 months.
For 6 months?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
That's an FHA situation you just said right now?
Yep.
3K or 203B. Yeah. Renovation loans.
So within 6 months, you can renovate the whole house within 6 months.
Exactly.
And then put a tenant in there, and now they're paying back the mortgage for you. Now, in that situation, are you trying to get more money than a mortgage payment? In that situation. So let's say the mortgage payment on that is $5,000 a month. Mm-hmm. What's the rent going to be?
we always recommend there is some kind of cushion, unless you've got a plan for either more forced depreciation or some other capital event. You should have cushion on those types because they are going to look at the after renovation value and everything with it. Okay. But it is also your prerogative. If you can qualify for the payment, what the rent is later, because remember, the FHA product is another one of those owner-occupied products. So your math initially and is your intention to live in it. So you're probably looking at renting out a part of it, living upstairs. But that math first has to begin with you, and we help dive into either a potential for where it could go or the best case scenario afterwards.
And we have a lot of clients that also do it on 4-unit buildings. But remember that term, repositioning the debt?
Yes.
We didn't even talk about the tax write-offs that real estate can afford you as well. So that's another thing. The tax write-offs, how you can save money from paying Uncle Sam.
Right.
That's another thing when you reposition debt.
We're gonna bring y'all back.
Layers to the game. There's lots of layers.
No, we're gonna bring y'all back on. We're gonna make them a regular, y'all. We're gonna make them a regular because there's so much information that I think we need to get. Yeah. I think if we're willing to teach this information, I just think it'll just send y'all way more clients. Because it's just
help more people. I mean,
absolutely.
Because a marketplace for us where people are both informed, empowered, and they come to us, and we don't have to overcome that hurdle of both speaking the possibility and getting them to that point of taking action. One of the biggest differences between some of our clients that have the generational wealth and the money backing them versus those that don't is that confidence to make the decision to take action when they need to. Because some folks miss out up front because they're like, oh man, I'm not sure. I don't know. Like, I trust you, Keith. I trust you, Harrison, but no one's ever done this around me before. So earlier we can speak both that possibility and processing to folks and they know what it is, the more empowered they are to actually get it done in the market. That's what we want.
I had a client on a Zoom call yesterday. She said, Keith, I was the first person to graduate college in my family. I don't know anyone in my family who owns a home. I'm the first person in my family to go through this process. The Monopoly board? Remember the Monopoly board? The process, right? I took her through the Monopoly board. She was in tears afterwards because she said, Keith, the information I just received in this 45-minute Zoom call is so much powerful than I've learned in the last 34 years of life.
Wow.
Because I feel like I have enough knowledge to go out and educate my kids to where they're going to have generational wealth.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And that's why I've been rocking with you, man, because I felt like you was giving me education, you was giving me wisdom and knowledge, and giving me what I need currently, which was a home.
Indeed.
And I think a lot of people is like, hey, let me just sell you this home so I can get my commission check.
Facts.
And then, hey, whenever you want to come back, just let me know. But it's like, nah, I felt that. And you guys, I want you all to check out their information in the show notes. If you're in the DMV area, or if you're just trying to get out into other areas, hit up the coalition group. Solid Brothers. If they can't help you in your area, they'll get you connected to the right people who can get you connected. And then also as well, I'm going to host some things here in the studio to where hour and a half, 2 hours, come in, we'll feed you lunch, and we'll just do some free, I don't know what's it called, where we just come in here and give you some free game and free information. But I really want to, I believe in connecting you with the right people. I want to get you the information. And then when you're ready to start the process of home ownership or even doing real estate on the side, these are the best people. I'm going to go through the referral process because I'm referring y'all. I need to get something.
Everybody eats, big.
Everybody eats. We'll call it a lunch and learn. Everybody eats.
Everybody eat. You know what I mean? It's like, I know y'all about to hit them up, and I ain't getting no check because I'm not licensed to get a check, right? So I gotta, if I'm gonna do this right, I gotta go do it legally and ethically. I get the license, so I'm gonna go through them and learn how to do that. So that way I can properly refer them. So when y'all click on the link to go see them, it's like, hey, Anthony ONeal referred me. Get that check. You know what I mean? Give me the check, brother.
Go buy some more. Go buy some more real estate.
That's all that is going to be. Like that referral money, I ain't going to touch that. That's going to be all real estate money. Put that back in the real estate.
It's the fun.
One of my dreams is that I could buy a unit and I put single mothers in there who need financial help. To where it's like they still pay rent, but it's ridiculously low compared to the market.
So much need in the market for that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I'm like, that's why. So like when I see that, I'm like, all right, cool. If I can get this set up properly, then that will fund that dream. And then it's like, hey, I got the equity play, but the monthly pay is really more so for that single mother and those kids.
That's so powerful, Anthony. I know a way we can do that. I'm on my third halfway house, returning citizen home. Wow. I hate the term halfway house.
Yeah.
I'm on my third returning citizens, and the last one that I just set up. It's for women that are returning back to the world.
Wow. Bro, we gotta run that play. We gotta run the play. We're gonna run the play. Well, you guys, thank you all so much for watching today's show, man. We're gonna put all their information inside today's show notes. Please make sure you check out my friends over there at Ethos. Get you a quote for your life insurance policy. Plus, once you do get that quote and you sign that dotted line, do not do the life insurance policy without selling it and directing it within an estate plan. So that way your money is properly covered. Not just your money, but your real estate that you're about to get. That your assets that you have. And what you need to do with your liabilities, because you don't want to give them money and then they don't take care of the liabilities. They need to take care of that so they can have true freedom. So check my friends over there at Ethos out. All right, we'll see you in the next show. Peace out.
Welcome to the table, yeah, yeah, we gon' get real.